Hello, everyone. I am going to. Oh, this is pretty long. Something came to my mind, because I watched something. I have to admit it. And I wondered on how heartless we have become and how we have been taught to be so in many different ways. I've always thought that somehow. Followed my own heart to mind, my conscience, yes, and of course, always God's guidance and spirit world. So I like to relate just a quick story on that. And if one really truly thinks about it, you will find that in so many areas we have been taught to be heartless, often to survive. Um, on some form or level, then heartlessness becomes an excuse. Even with our children, being heartless and will make them into a better person. Okay. Uh, when I started volunteering as an 11th hour volunteer at hospice, which is you sit with people who are actively dying, and they're, either the family needs a break, or there is no one else. Yes. Uh, you have training. You get training. And in the training, we were told, there were just a few of us. It's not too many people who seem to be able to handle sitting with actively dying people. They're not going to come back and stand up and go on and do that. They are dying. So we're with them in their last hours. And the one thing that we were told there was, you don't get too close. You have to keep a certain distance so that you stay intact. That it isn't going to affect the dying of other people, isn't going to affect you. So keep your distance. Don't get personally involved. And I sat there and going, how the heck do you do that when you sit with a dying person? I have no idea what they're talking about. I wasn't really going in with a plan. I just, again, knowing so much about spirit world, or having experienced so much about spirit world, my willingness to do that was, I wanted to keep helping. I wanted to keep guiding, right, these people who were dying to have this transition into spirit world. And also, if there was still something that needed to be resolved, or at least to have a foundation for a beginning in spirit world, then I wanted to help with that. So that was mine. Right? So that's what I was told. Don't get too close. I happen to be, I'm not bragging, this is what I was told by the nurses, this and that. One of the volunteers, 11th hour volunteers, who they said, we can't, it's hard for us to believe in how you're doing this. We never see you just sitting on the couch on your cell phone, which I didn't have one, or doing whatever. You were always right there with them. You're reading to them. You're listening to them. We could tell you were listening to them, though they were, unconscious. They were, not really communicating anymore. Yes? Well, anyway. And I seem to be the only one doing that. Also, in the way that I engaged, if there was family there, this and that, yes, I couldn't do what I was taught in the training, because that seemed heartless to me. If I'm just a body sitting there having no connection at all, making no connection, um, then why am I there? Then I'm not needed. I was there for a reason. God put me in that position for a number of years. Don't do it anymore now, right? Well, where am I? For a reason. And maybe to gain that experience on how so many people are being taught to be heartless when it comes to towards another human being. Yes? Anyway, that's what I wanted to share. I have very little limited time. And again, then I thought about how many other places are we becoming heartless. I find that, again, what is going on in South Korea, that the government is very heartless. For what reason exactly? Towards its own people. Heartless. You have to be heartless to be a good leader of a nation? Do you? Truly? Oh, it's for the better of exactly what? And with many other different things. A soldier has to become heartless. Otherwise, you can't take the life of another person, regardless what the circumstances are. The other thing, too, is that, again, I said that in the beginning, we are taught to become heartless. Taught. Forced into becoming heartless. Hence, we have a lot of things going on in our own country, all around the world, it's just heartless. Heartless. Mankind has become heartless. Hence, we have a very difficult time connecting to God's heart. True? Yes. Okay, let's get going here. Oh, wrong glasses. I got the right ones already on. All right, so we are in the book of Ecclesiasticus. B, in history, eulogy of the ancestors. 44. Next, let us pray. Well, that's a good one again. Ancestors, right? Yes? You could almost say we were bred by our ancestors to become heartless. Yes? In the Old Testament here, they needed kings so they could become more heartless. The commandments that God had given them teach us to be what? Kind, loving, caring about others. Kings taught the people to become heartless. Yes? Again, made my point. God never intended for Israel to have any kings. Eulogy of the ancestors. Next, let us praise illustrious men, our ancestors in their successive generations. The Lord has created an abundance of glory and displayed his greatness from earliest times. Also, in order for them to do whatever they did, God needed to be heartless as well. Hence, the chosen few. Hence, whoever attacks them or goes after them or whatever, God will eliminate them. That would make God heartless. Again, I'm doing this for the reputation of God. God's not heartless. Not at all. That's not true. But many of our ancestors we're reading about here needed God to be heartless. And displayed his greatness from earliest times. Some wielded authority as kings and were renowned for their strength. Others were intelligent advisors and uttered prophetic sayings. Others directed the people by their advice, by their understanding of the popular mind, and by the wise words of their teaching. Others composed musical melodies and set down ballads. Others were rich and powerful, living peaceful in their homes. All these were honored by their contemporaries and were the glory of their day. Some of them left a name behind them so that their praises are still sung. Yeah. While others have left no memory and disappeared as though they had not existed. They are now as though they had never been, and so too their children after them. But here's a list of illustrious men whose good works have not been forgotten. In their descendants they find a rich inheritance, their posterity. Their descendants stand by the commandments, and thanks to them, so their children's children. Their offspring will last forever. Their glory will not fade. Their bodies have been buried in peace. Really. And their name lives on for all generations. The people will proclaim their wisdom. The assembly will celebrate their praises. I'm going to just read. I'm going to withhold my. Okay, I'm going to try and withhold my. I said what I said beforehand. I think that people with the proper heart to mind and a conscience that guides them on the side of goodness will understand what I tried to say and on how, for thousands of years, heartlessness has become a greater and greater and greater rock and steel and a rod of iron in our hearts. Enoch pleased the Lord and was transferred to heaven, an example for the conversation of all generations. That was that. Noah was found perfectly upright. In the time of retribution, he became the heir. Because of him, a remnant was preserved for the earth. At the coming of the flood, everlasting covenants were made with him, that never again should every living creature perish by flood. I know a lot of people who still perished by floods. We just had a recent one in our own county. It was very, very devastating. Just saying. Abraham, the great ancestor of a host of nations. No one was ever his equal in glory. He observed the law of the Most High and entered into a covenant with him. He confirmed the covenant in his own flesh and proved himself faithful under ordeal. The Lord therefore promised him an oath to bless the nations through his descendants, to multiply him like the dust on the ground, to exalt his descendants like the stars, and to give them the land as their heritage, from one sea to the other, from the river to the ends of the earth. Now, wasn't Abraham the one, or was it Jacob? No. It was Abraham who sent a servant girl that he got pregnant with his son into the desert. That's pretty heartless. Okay. Isaac and Jacob. To Isaac too, for the sake of Abraham his father, he assured the blessing of all humanity. He caused the covenant to rest on the head of Jacob. He confirmed him in his blessings and gave him the land as his inheritance. He divided it into portions and shared it out among the 12 tribes. Pretty heartless what they did to Isaac, though. No, that was Esau. Isaac and Jacob. Esau. Not. So, okay. Some pretty heartless stuff went on there, too. Moses. Oh, that's it. That's the end of 44. Which is good. So, again, yes, I'm sure that they all had their place when it came to the restoration path. Were they all that successful? Was it done in an appropriate way? I think that deserves a debate. Yes, and then again, how much heartlessness was involved right there, and on how God was used. It says, sometimes. Okay, all right. Just saying. Right? As much as I have read now here in the Old Testament, many of these men come across to me, and they're women too, for that matter, as having a lot of temper tantrums. That's how they come across to me. How governments around the world can be this heartless. I think the South Korean government has been showing us just how heartless you can be. Very sad. I find that very, very sad. And I am praying every day for them to kind of realize, oh my gosh, what are we doing? They're people, aren't they? They're supposed to all be people. These are people who are ruling a nation, carrying a nation on their shoulders. And they're this heartless with their own people. There are many things in South Korea that are still going on. I guess people don't really know. All we see is the great stuff, right? It's not like it is here in the United States. Again, I have to tell you, the United States is, no doubt in my mind, the best place to live when it comes to many, many different things. What I see in many countries still going on is on how people are kept at a certain poverty level. No way out. There just isn't a way out. And when it involves children, yes, very sad. Anyway, I think that every country around the world and its people should examine the heartlessness that surrounds them, the heartlessness that they give out themselves. Yes? Yeah. And how have we been taught that way? Why? And this is all, again, spank your children, sure. If that's what you think, that's all you can do. There are other ways to discipline children. I found that the only time that becomes necessary, that you have to hit a child, spank a child, cause them physical pain to obey, is when you as a parent didn't do something. And because you failed, now you have to become heartless. Yes? Yeah. Talking about children, there are a few adults out there who like to slap around a little bit. Just saying, okay? But when it comes to children, they have these tiny little hands. And here, they see your hand coming at them. Something not right about that. I will not change my mind about that again. Yes, I have learned my lessons there as well. Yeah. Anyway, so there is that. So yes, I feel like the change of lineage that I've been a part of involves many different things where changes are needed. Change of lineage doesn't mean, okay, oh, my blood's better now. It's on the side of God. I don't have nothing to do with Lucifer anymore. It involves way more than that. A change of lineage means a completely new look at everything, on how we have been doing things in the past and what our ancestors did in the past. Everything. Yeah. Yes. Little by little. Yes. Yeah. That's all I have to share this morning. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you, guide you, and embrace you with love. Eldridge, my dearest brother in faith, I love you. Let's keep going. I'm praying that the next place you're going to is going to be really great, that you keep just teaching. Don't force, just teach. Yes? And be that loving, endearing self that you can be to people. And I will talk to y'all another time.